Hey, Stream Elements joined us today. That's lovely. It is Monday. It is a needle felting day, you guys, and we are starting a few minutes early. Hope everybody's doing all right today. We are picking back up where we left off with our latest needle felting adventure. We have been doing a series where we are needle felting along with the Bob Ross tutorials. There goes that YouTube algorithm. I just spilled water all over me. Sorry. And it was very cold. All over my chair. Alright. Oh well. Back to the drawing board with that one. If I really cared, I'd stop the stream and start over, but it is what it is. Anyhow. Yeah, so we've been following the Bob Ross painting tutorials from season 3 of The Joy of Painting with needle felting, and we are on the last tutorial of season 3. This is a slightly different one because he's got his son Steve painting, but he's painting more of a demonstration. It's more of a painting demo in this one because people wrote in with questions and Bob's reading out the question and then he's having Steve demonstrate the answers. So this one feels a little disjointed when you're looking at it. The back looks very different than the front. The front feels more fall and the back feels more winter. I'm not really sure why, but it does. So it's gonna be a little bit different. We did our reference sketch to work out the layout that we wanted to do over here. Let's not snap that. We did that last week. It was just a quick kind of get the idea down, work out what colors we wanted to use sort of thing. So for anyone that wants to follow along, the link is in the chat. And we're going to go ahead and pin that for anyone that may want to watch that in full. I do have the tutorial in the bottom corner. Sorry, my words got stuck. And I do have it muted. Closed captioning is on, but we have it in pause a lot because this medium's a lot slower than paint, so it spends most of its time paused. So that's why we pin the link to the original tutorial. So when we last left off yesterday, we were working on our sky. So that is going to be where we're going to pick up. Here today. So that's just a little bit of water. And it helps get a little bit of friction going in my hand, and I like to roll my fluff into little fluffy snakes. You do not have to by any means whatsoever. It's just something I like to do. And we're gonna start stabbing in. Now I use acrylic yarn instead of roving. It's a lot more budget friendly for me. I've gotten quite a lot of mileage out of my yarn, And in fact, I haven't had to replace any of our colors. I have added more colors, but I haven't run out of any specific color yet. White, I came close, but I'm still not quite out yet. Now, if I hadn't added colors to our color selection to the yarn chest, I might have, because I would have had to get a little creative with changing colors around from what Bob used. Because when we first started this project, I didn't have very many colors, but I have added to our fiber chest of goodies here as time has progressed. Alright, now I do have us turned sideways here, so I can see what I'm doing. So hope everybody's having a good Monday. Uh-oh. What was that?
That was the phone board. I think someone got caught on the wire earlier. Got caught on the wire now, you little bugger.
Who was it?
Might have been Ed.
Ah, yes, the orange. The orange one, that sounds about right. Okay. I made some progress editing last night. Happy about that. I got through about an hour and a half worth of video. Took a couple hours because I kept getting distracted and kept needing to take breaks, so if I hadn't gotten distracted, I probably would have been through that entire chunk of video I had. But still, progress was made. Alright. Remember, you want to release from your fabric mat, if you're using a fabric mat, every so often, more often than not. I don't know if the same rings true if you're using a foam mat. Probably not, because it wouldn't be as attached to a foam mat. But I don't know because I don't use the foam mats very often. I prefer these fabric-y ones. To me, they've got a little bit more of a longer life cycle. And then the foam ones, and the sound's a lot easier on my sound sensitive ears. don't think that quite worked out how I was expecting that to, for some reason. I also like to work in smaller amounts of fluff because sometimes it's easier to go in small amounts and build it up because it's easier to add than it is to take away. At least in my experience. Now, for some reason, this section of the mat is really a little... No, it's not the mat. Okay. It's just me. Felt a little thick. But that's okay. My finger joints are a little angry today. For reasons, I guess. Alright, now I still feel like I'm a little bit thin in that spot right there, so I'm going to add just a little bit more. Now this top line here, I don't know if you can see it, this guy, I'm going to try to be up against it as much as I can, but I'm not going to stress real hard about, you know, if I go over it or it's a little wonky, because we're going to have our dowel rod sitting up here that we're going to use as our hanger for this, and that is right here. It's primed. It came unfinished. I haven't painted it yet for the color it's going to be because I don't know what color we're going to make it yet. We'll see what color speaks to us when we get closer to being done. All right. Okay. So that's looking pretty good there. Now, this is just a standard piece of craft felt from the art store, Walmart, wherever you get your art supplies. Just a classic 9x12 thinness. This isn't like the thick one that we used on the last project. I am out of that one and I am sad now, because I actually kind of preferred that to this one now that I've been back working on this one. But I think it's going to be situational. I think if we're doing a dowel hanger then the thicker one might be the better way to go. However, I also have some embroidery hoops I'm going to be using for a project coming up. And that, I think, is going to be better with the thinner one to get it into the hoop a little bit easier. And the things on my fingers are finger protectors. They will help reduce any potential injury if I stab the project and hit my hand instead. So that's why I'm trying to keep the fingers with the protectors on them in the line of fire. Sometimes I will occasionally forget that that finger is not injured, that that's the finger that's supposed to be holding the things. So once in a while you'll see a naked finger pop into there holding stuff close to the needle by accident. But I do want to try to keep the protected fingers in there. Now it is possible to stab through these. I've done it. It's possible. And it still hurts even with these on if you hit finger. But the worst that's happened so far for me has just been like if I had pricked my finger with a needle. Or it was just like a spot of blood. So we were okay. Don't get me wrong, it hurt and it was sore, but it was nothing disastrous. Didn't involve any emergency room trips or anything. We were good. And I do recommend wearing these, especially if you're doing critters, the little 3D sculptures that people tend to do the most with these guys, with this medium. Because sometimes the needle will go through the other side unexpectedly, depending on the thickness of your creature, if you're not paying attention. So I highly recommend them to keep yourself safe. I've got quite a few plans for this week. We'll see, or for the next 2 days, we'll see if I manage to accomplish any of them. But my plan is to get some more video editing done. I want to bake some cookies while it's not searing hot. Been wanting those cookies for a while, and then it got too hot and I didn't want to mess with them, and then I got busy and didn't really have time to mess with them. We need to get some more painting recorded. Okay. We were trying to plan our moved home for our upcoming trip. I know it seems silly to some people to be looking at that now, but we kind of have to figure out what we want to do, because I need a couple backup cities in case the hotel is full in the city that we decide to stop in. Because the one city, I was like, oh, we could stay here. Number one, it was way expensive. It was more expensive than I expected it to be. For a Holiday Inn Express, and they only had like 2 rooms left of the type that we were gonna need for October. And I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck is going on? On October 3rd, that it would be almost booked. So, I don't know, man. It seemed weird. And we're trying to figure out how many hours we want to do in the car on the way home. Driving from my brother's to the place we're gonna stop at on our first night on the way down would be probably almost a 12-hour drive with my mother, and that's a little too long. It's a bit longer than I wanted to do. I don't think my sanity can take that. My husband surely doesn't want to drive that many hours in a row. So I'm not sure. There's not that many good places to stop in Georgia for us on the road that we're taking. Like, the hotel we want will be there, but the food options aren't there, or, you know, something, or the hotel we want won't be there, and, you know. We're picky about what we'll eat. But our first day on the road home might just be a shorter drive day, and we might just let her dick around at my aunt's on the way home. And, you know, we might also stop at like one of those stupid tourist citrus centers or whatever, like we did on the way home the last time. We can always do that to waste some time, so we're not just sitting at the hotel twiddling our thumbs. Him and I get very restless when we're on the road. We just want to get to point A to point B. Like, even if we've hit our limit for being in the car, once we stop moving, we're like, okay, now what? Because we don't have any of our creature comfort distractions when we get to the hotel. do not like how that is laying. So I might bring our mountain color up over that. That is bugging me. This in here. And that's okay. We can make adjustments. Not a huge deal. I left us some room for those potential adjustments. Okay. And I tend to overlap my bits of fluff here when I'm adding more pieces in. Find that it just goes in a little bit smoother that way. I don't have any weird seams in between the color bits. Now I haven't fully attached that bit yet, and that's okay. We'll get there. Don't you worry. That section there's a little thin. Or at least it looked a little thin. Maybe it wasn't, but it felt it. It almost felt like there was a light gray section kind of peeking through. And you know what? If you're not happy, just add a little bit more fluff onto there. It's all good. You can make adjustments as you go. If you feel like you're seeing some of your base felt shining through, you can add another little bit on top. It's all right. Hi, Momo. Oh, you're both over here. What's up, my guys? Huh? What's the matter? Now you're a dad. Alright, you gotta give me a minute. Alright. We're like only a half hour in. Give me 1 minute. Alright, doggy wants to go potty. I will be right back. I'm gonna run an ad while we are gone. Ad will probably be done before I return. Okay, we are back. Sorry about that. When the doggo's gotta go, the doggo's gotta go. And doggo has some bladder issues, so doggo has to go often. And the husband was in the middle of something, so it was my turn to get him. Oh, it's an itchy ear day. I'll tell you that much. I said usually the puppy potty breaks are about 5 minutes. Usually. Depending on how long it takes us to get outside and find a place to pee and come back and then try to get resettled. And all that stuff. Still kind of feel like I've got a thin spot right there. Don't be afraid to cut your fluff into a smaller piece. For some reason that was something I was always kind of hung up about. I don't know why, but it was. You can cut the fluff, it's okay. Alright, that's a little better. Okay, now, since we just have this small guy here, I'm going to use that to work in to this little crevice here. Okay. New piece of fluff time. Saw one of the outdoor cats down in our driveway, our backyard, just chilling. She must have been dozing or really focused on something else because she didn't hear me yelling her name at first. And then when she finally did, she did like the one arm stretch and then looked at me and I'm like, what? Like, no, I'm not coming down to visit. I'm just checking on you. She's not even our cat. Alright, so this is where one of our like tree foothills are gonna go. So I don't just want to like cut it off, because because we're gonna put a snow base under that. That we've already picked out the shade on. Sorry, had an itch in the corner of my eye. I wasn't quite sure what was going on. It kind of felt like a fuzz tickling. Was it dog fuzz? Was it yarn fluff? I don't know. Your guess is about as good as mine on that one. Alright, so this bit's a little thin in here, or at least it looks it. This particular shade of blue has some lighter blue or potentially white mixed into it. So when I fluff it and then go to stab it in, some sections will look a little bit more mottled, I guess, M-O-T-T-L-E-D, or variegated at times, where it seems like there's some lighter bits that I confuse for thin spots in our base color shining through. Totally on me, but I like to make sure that it's not a thin spot sometimes, and I'll just add some more fluffy bits on top of it. And I mean, it's okay, we can do that, it's not a big deal. All it does is take a little bit more time. My main goal for today was to get the background color in and maybe start work on our clouds. I will be... Huh?
Oh, my alarm to go see the doctor last week just went off.
Oh.
I did not realize I left it on.
Did you set a new alarm for her morning exercises or no?
No.
Were you supposed to?
No.
Did she do them today?
Not yet.
Alrighty. Let's see, I've got another... I don't think that's actually a thin spot there. It could be. It very well could be. I'm just not certain. Hard to tell. It could also be the yarn picking up some of the ink from our pen and it just giving it the illusion that it's a thin spot when it's just the ink. In which case I do want to try to cover that if we can anyhow. But we still have our clouds to go in, which may cover, or we can use to cover anything that just didn't quite sit well with us. If it comes to it. Okay. So I'm slowly getting the rest of this all attached down in here. As we're going. Like it's attached, but it's not as attached as I would like it to be. So we're just kind of taking our time and working through that. Okay. I'm glad I topped this color off, because we're going through a fair bit of it here. Kind of missed where I wanted to attach that, didn't I? Just a bit. we'll have to add another little bit in there. Alright. So we'll keep on tapping that into place. Actually, my eye still feels all runny. Like sticky. Welcome to allergies. Okay. So let's work on getting this bit put into here and sorted. Okay. So let's work on getting our next bit of fluff. Wow, there's a lot of traffic today. Or at least all of a sudden. I mean, school hasn't even started back up yet. It's kind of crazy. We've got this much traffic going on all of a sudden. Okay. There we go. So that was just kind of turning into a bit of a rat's nest there, instead of something that was more workable. Alright. So let's start to overlap this guy a little bit. Probably overlapped him a little more than I really needed to, but that's okay. Alright, I'm just trying to get this in around our edge here. Okay. So our back's not looking too bad. Doesn't really matter what the back looks like, but it's not too bad. Alright, so we'll get this guy. Popped into here. I'm just trying to get that like right up to our tape line there. Okay. Next bit of fluff. So there was like a weird little valley between the two spots there, so we're just gonna grab some more fluff and we'll just kind of work that in. Okay. Sorry, I had to skip that song. That was becoming a nuisance. Alright, next bit of fluffy fuzz. Alrighty. So we're making some progress today. Slow, but we're making some. Alright, I need to get a little bit more fluff here. So we've gone through the bit that we pulled out earlier. Alright. So, let's get this bit popped into here. Going to be along the tape edge. And I'm fairly certain that some of our dowel will cover this edge in here. So I don't have to be 100% precise on getting that pen line covered. Okay. We do have a thin spot in there. Or a gap. Whatever you want to refer to it as. It's there. So we're going to go ahead. And we're going to fill that in. Anchor down the ends first, and then I'll fill in the middle where it was more noticeable. Alright, that's pretty good in there. Alright, next bit. Do I want to work from this side? I mean, we can. It's not that big of a thing. Might be a little bit better if we work from this side. Or at least a little bit easier. Maybe. I didn't get that in close enough. Alright. Okay, so that was a small fail there. Not sure if I can move that. Over enough. Yeah, we're gonna need a little bit more than that. As I try not to stab through the tape too much. It happens, but we're gonna try not to. Now, if I have to grab the fluff with one of the unprotected fingers, I will try to keep one of the protected ones in front of it, kind of like a shield. Just in case. So usually that's back far enough where it's not in the danger zone, usually. July is just kind of buzzing on through here. I saw a date on the gallon of milk in the fridge and I was like, oh damn, my birthday is coming up. That didn't want to attach right away. That's fine. We can fix that. We'll just have to hold down part of that. So we're almost done getting the sky in place. Just a couple of more spots to go. Pop this guy up gently. Alright. So we've got a little bit in the center here. Alright, I might add just a little bit more in there. So just a little bit. Maybe. Haven't fully decided yet, but I feel like that's our base color coming through there. So I think we probably need to. That section on the back actually looks a little thin in that area too, so probably actually is thin. So just add a little bit more on top, that's fine. Okay. That's still not quite attached in there. There's definitely some movement. Alright, so we just have a little bit more to fill in down in here. I don't think we need quite that much. Alright. Now. Let's get a bit more. This might even be too much. We have to fill in this little corner down here. Okay. So we're gonna see about getting this in here up against our tape line. Now the tape I put in just to help me try to keep my edges straight. Because for some reason my edges have a tendency to be super wonky at times. And we were kind of doing it as an experiment to see how it would go. The last piece that I first tried this on was a much thicker piece of felt. And it worked pretty okay. There was like one spot where it was a little wonky, but I also had the tape on there a little wonky, so we're gonna try it on the thinner felt. And we're gonna see how we go. The other side looked a little wonkified already, but I'm not sure if that was just me fucking something up or not getting the tape on fully straight. Let's see, it's just a small piece left in my hand here. You know what? We're gonna drop that in right there. Because that was a little strange where those two pieces met up. And I wasn't really enjoying what it was doing there. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this side feels a little bowed already. We'll see. I mean, if it turns out that it was the thicker felt that definitely helped, I will get more of the thicker felt. And we'll save the thinner felt for the embroidery guys. But, we'll see how we do. Okay, so let's set that color off to the side. Now, so we've basically got our sky in place. We need to figure out our clouds next. I think we're gonna advance the tutorial just a little bit. Now, Bob put the water in already. I'm not doing that yet. Because see how this seems kind of baggy where the mountains are? I don't want to put the water in yet and have to deal with more bunchiness. We'll do the water when we get down to it. We've got a ways to go before we're going to do water. It's a lot easier with this to work your way down than to jump around. So they're just showing how they blended the water there. That's why he's being a little exaggerated and slow, because they were demoing how to do different things that people seemed confused about. Something about little fluffy clouds with the fan brush. I do wonder if these were legit questions that had been sent in, though. Alright, so Steve's kind of working that in. And I think there's only like 2 actual... Oh yes, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that Steve kind of fucked up that cloud. Now I don't feel so bad about when I'm doing mine. Like, they've really got quite a bit of paint in there. Like, mine always seems so much bluer than their white clouds. I actually appreciate that Steve putting that in there, and it's not super perfect, but then again, they don't always zoom in that close. Snow on mountains. Okay, well, I mean, that just kind of takes practice. Alright, I'm gonna pause it there and see if we can... Alright, we're gonna have to back up, because going forward didn't help. Gotta get the timing down right. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get a close-up with Steve's hand in the way. Like, not in the way. Ah! Too slow. Damn it. There we go. Good enough. Okay. So, they only put 2 clouds in. Oh gosh, I gotta dig my void out of the bucket. I think it's all the way in the bottom. You can put as many as you want. Or you could, like, not put any. That's gonna be... Oh, shit. That's gonna be up to you. Yep, very bottom of my... No! Alright, well, you know what? That's fine. Very bottom of my bucket. I've got a... like a pail from kitty litter. We can't recycle them. They're made out of a plastic that our recycling doesn't take in our area. So we try to repurpose as many as we can, using them for storage. of various items, and I've got two holding my mini canvases, and I was using them to store my yarn for a little while. I'd wiped out the kitty litter dust, of course, but I've got one sitting next to me that I just kind of tossed all of the bags of fluff in for this project so I didn't have to go hunting for them off of the yarn wall. Alright, so I'm just kind of playing with this, trying to figure out part of our cloud shape here. So I'm going to turn him sideways again. And in our sketch, I've got one kind of sitting here, kind of chilling out right behind our mountainy guy. I'm kind of trying to make the bottom of this sort of straight. Sort of. I know not all of them are, but I think this is what I'm kind of looking for on this guy, and that totally undid the entire shape I was messing with in my fingers before we started putting it down, but you know what? That happens sometimes. And it's probably better that we get the bottom of our clouds sorted. Before we get real far there. I mean, that's actually not... That ain't bad, actually, on its own. I might leave him be like that. I kind of like that. Alright. Hey, Mr. Cloud, good job. Sometimes the fiber does what it wants, and I'm happy with it. Sometimes it does what it wants, and I'm like, oh no, what is this? Alright, I do want another little guy kind of coming off the edge here, so I'm gonna see about tapping that in here. Why don't you want to go in there? I don't know why you're being weird about that. Now I might end up adding a bit more to this. I most likely will, because that's kind of a smaller guy than I wanted. And his insides got a bit stretched out there, so don't want that many holes in our cloud. Alright. So yeah, I need to get a little bit more floof. Again, it's just a little bit of water I'm picking up. Like a drop off of my finger. It's kind of more than enough there. Alright, I'm just working on filling this in. Hold on, I have to change what I'm listening to. It kind of went like exaggeratedly electronic and my ears started hurting. Alright. So we'll work on getting this guy. He's gonna need a little bit more fluff in there to get him filled in proper. He's a little too see-through for that, for what I want. And yeah, we could probably get there if we used a little bit thicker amount of fluff. But I also don't want to overdo it either. Is it something with... No, it's this section of felt. It's just being a little bit difficult. That or I got the fluff a little too thick there. Possible. It is possible. Okay. Kind of looks like it wants to rain out there again. Yeah, we need some more white there. For sure. Okay. Okay. So I'm probably gonna have to add a little bit more. I want to extend that guy just a little too. I mean, his coloring's not bad now. For the most part. But I don't know if he's quite long enough. for my liking. And we've got a little bit of a thinner section. You okay? Just checking on the husband. Alright. So I'm thinking maybe just a little bit more. There we go. Up in here. Because that was a little bit thin in that one spot. And I know some clouds you can see some blue sky through. I wasn't feeling that for mine. I wanted this to be a little more fluffy. A little more robust action to him. And you can do your clouds if you decide to attempt something like this however you want. I mean, hell, if you wanted different colored clouds, you can go for it. Wasn't quite what I was going for, but okay. Sure, I guess. You know what, we could give him like a little tail. Kind of just goes off into nothing. Might need to make that connection point a little bit thicker there. Yeah, I probably will, because I'm not. Yeah. Like, it sounded good, but then, you know, as we stab the fluff in, it'll shrink down, so we didn't have it quite big enough to handle that. Alright. So we got this guy popped into there. That's a little better. take a better look at that guy. Yeah, that feels pretty good there. Except, well, it does feel a little bit angled there, oddly. Like coming off of the tape. Kind of want this guy to look a little different. Like it was kind of a sharp angle there. It looked weird. Okay, let's see. That's a little bit better, I think. So don't forget, we can trim any weirdness off the edges if it comes to it. So let's figure out where we want our other cloud to be. The other one I kind of had hanging out over here. Fluff just does not want to roll in my hand today. It's sliding, but not how I want it to. Alright, so and this guy, I want him to sit behind our mountain here, right? So it's gonna look a little odd at first. So I'm gonna go over the top of our mountain here. But we haven't put the mountains in yet. It's just a sketch line indicating where their approximate existence will be. And we can go right back over top of our cloud with our mountain color. That's fine. That won't be a real big deal. All right. So, these loud ass cars today are annoying. Being all obnoxious and shit. Alright, let's see. I think y'all can see that. You might have been able to see it to begin with, but I wasn't certain. Okay. I'm gonna give this guy a bit more of a rounded feel to him, or at least if we're gonna try. The other two were a little flat. Right at the moment, I'm just kind of more worried about our outer edge of Mr. Cloud here. Because we can come back in and fluff him and fill him in a bit. So that's not quite so much of a problem. Okay, I'm gonna pop that up gently. Gently, gently. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna fill in a bit more of our white. Fluff's trying to take off over there. Hey, stop that. You'll get your chance, don't worry. Don't you worry, friends. And I'm not gonna rush this. I mean, we are on some time constraints here. To a degree, for when I need to get this project done, but this is not a section that I want to rush. Because I want our clouds to look good. Alright, so that's not looking half bad. I mean, I know we still have some thin spots in there, and that's okay. We're gonna fix that here in a minute. Just gotta hang in there and trust it. So let's get some more fluff. Actually, you know what? Let me move. Nope, wrong way. Thought I did this earlier, but I didn't quite do it enough. Alright. I love this camera software that I can just slide it on over. Okay. So. Gonna that section's being a little uncooperative. That's alright. Well, that's the reason why I hold stuff down a lot. Is it lets the needle get in there. And do what it needs to do. I'm just kind of working on shaping our top edge here. Don't worry about cutting off the top of your mountain. It's fine. It's gonna be okay. We have this line here and this line here to help follow, to make it all better again when we get there. Or if it really super bothers you, you could just stop here and then pick it back up over here. But just to make sure that we line up properly and we don't look funny, I'm just gonna truck right on through it. Because we're gonna be okay. It's gonna be alright. Okay. And I'll come back in and fill in our insides here in just a minute. Okay. So small bits of fluff at a go here. Just because I find that a bit easier to work with. I'm going to start to flatten that guy out just a little bit. Alrighty. Trying to figure out what we're going to do for my birthday. He doesn't want anything for his birthday. I'm trying to go real cheap for my birthday because we've got the trip coming up and I kind of want a second Bobby flamingo or some kind of flamingo sculpture from the garden center that we stopped at the last time we were down there. You know, plus we've got the trip coming up, so I think we'll just get, or I don't know, I was torn between getting pizza or Panda Express. I might just get Panda Express, and I think I might do oatmeal cookies instead of cake this time. Kind of tired of cake. Last couple times I've had it, I haven't really been that into it. And I need to make chocolate chip cookies. Well, I don't need to, I'm gonna try to take with us. My brother likes the cookies my mom made. They were just off the back of the chocolate chip package. And I think his birthday is sometime early September. And if I make them a couple of days... Oh shit. I might need to make those the night before we leave. Or the Friday before we leave. 'Cause I gotta get dishes done before we walk out this door. Because I'm not leaving a huge mess in the sink because the mother-in-law's not going to do them. or it's very unlikely she's gonna do them. Based off of what we walked into when she knew the day we were gonna be home. The last time we were out of town. I wasn't real thrilled with coming home and having COVID, number one, and then two, walking into that and be like, oh, okay. Be like, what? And she knew we were sick too. It's like, we told her, we're like, hey, get done what you need to get done and then get the fuck out of the house because we think we're sick. That should be pretty good. There's a couple of lighter spots here. So I'm just hoping I don't walk into a mess when we come back. Because that kind of pissed me off. I thought we had to renew our IDs before we left, but we don't. It can wait till we get back, so that's good. Our state is going to the real IDs, the ones that you have to have like X amount of paperwork to prove who you are. We had that in New Jersey, like the enhanced driver's licenses, and the amount of paperwork they needed for us to reach the number of points that we needed was fucking horrendous. And I'm like, really? Like, for fuck's sake. And it was every time. Not just the first time you're getting the enhanced ID, but every time you renewed after the fact. It was the same paperwork. And I'm like, y'all gave me the first one. Okay. Which proves I had the paperwork. Why do we need to do this again? Why do you need it again? We've been through this. If you didn't scan it for your files, that's on you. Like, what the fuck? It pisses me off. Because I need so much paperwork. Because my name's not on anything. That's not true. I have a credit card. And I do have my name on a bank statement. I'm not sure if I'm the primary on that account or the secondary, but like all the utilities and shit are in the mother-in-law's name because it's her house, except for the phone bill. That the internet bill's in the husband's name, I think. Or no, is it in her name? It might be in her name too. Husband has a credit card and I think bank statement, but I also have to have my marriage certificate, and like birth certificate, and because I changed my name. And I'm like, y'all, Social Security didn't give me this much of a hassle when I changed my name. The casino wanted less information from me when I had to renew my license. Like, this is ridiculous. But they're enforcing the deadline, I think, of next spring. Spring 2025, like, I think April 2025 or something. Excuse me, where we have to have this. So that we can fly. We're not going to be flying, so we don't care about that. But, being able to enter, like, courthouses and shit, that doesn't matter so much for him because he gets exempt from jury duty. But it does matter for me if I have jury duty. So that's a problem. Alright. Got our clouds done. I don't want to do any more than that. I think we're good. I think any more would be overkill. So with that, we're going to move on to our mountains. So I need to find our mountain color. I'm checking my notes here. What color did we say we were gonna do? That's not it. That's not it. Oh, I should have fluffed more than that. I thought I did fluff more than that. Oh, who are you? Not you. Oh no, that's a different color. Okay. Not you. Not you. Not you. I think we have a winner. Yes, we do. Okay. Back into the bucket with all of ye. Nope, nope, not on the floor. In the bucket. Okay. The white I don't think we're done with. The sky color we're done with. We're using a different shade for our water. The sky color we can hang back up on the fluff wall and return them to their rightful position. Okay, so we are using the taupe shade from Big Twist Value line. That's what it's called. Alright. So, figure out where we want our peak to be. Probably about there. Now, if I don't have any fingers on the tail of this, you're gonna see it start pulling in real quick, right? Because it's grabbing all the fibers. The needle barbs are grabbing all of the fibers. But if I put my finger over the tail, it's still gonna grab them, but it's gonna slow down how much it pulls at one time. And I don't want it pulling everything at once here. So I'm just gonna slow that guy down there a little bit. And I'm trying to overlap our taupe onto the edge of our sky color here, just so we don't have any like strange gaps in between the two shades. That we might struggle with. So this is kind of like a grayish brown smoky kind of color, and I wasn't really sure what color I wanted to use for this. Oh, we should advance the tutorial. Hold on. They're gonna start to alright, so they're fluffing the cloud. That one I'm not gonna read on TV. Yeah, okay. I feel like he just made stuff up. Like, they had to have rehearsed this. Alright, they're talking about snow on the mountains. So Steve's gonna start to put in the mountains. And see, it looks like a black-brown color. I think we're okay with our mountain color choice. Actually, it almost looks purpley. He's grabbing the excess paint, and then he's gonna blend it out. And blending it out with the paint and the brush strokes, it gives you your planes and, you know, your angles and stuff. Oh, sore ears. Ow, ow, ow. Alright, so then he's gonna grab his snow. That's a lot of snow. Like, that's more paint than I thought they grabbed, but Steve's mountains were also pretty thickly snowed, I will say. So then you use your pure white color as your highlight for the direction that your sun's coming down in, or your light, whatever. And then you're gonna take whatever color you want to be your shadow, and then that's gonna go on those other crevices. So like a little bit of blue. Yes, Steve, show the class. That's a lot of paint. And then they're gonna go in like the opposite angle direction. That was a choice there, Steve. So yeah, you can change your mind. With paint, you can change your mind a heck of a lot easier than you necessarily can with this stuff. So and then he's gonna do mist. I can't really pull off the mist with this, so that I don't do, because you really kind of can't and have it actually look misty. I mean, if there's some thick ass fog, you might be able to get away with indicating that, but it's kind of tough, and that is not something that I have been able to master yet. So we're gonna try to do this. I don't know if it's gonna work very well, but so I've got 3 lines on here. We've got this line that we followed that I still have to fill in a little bit better. And I'm gonna turn this guy so I can see what I'm doing on this side. We've got this line here, and then we've got this line here. So we're gonna go to our outer line here. I'm gonna meet up with the other far side. Yeah, I need to fill that in a little bit better. I did a shit job of that. Alright. So I'm gonna start stabbing in the lightest of pressure. The lightest of pressure on your finger, just like your finger resting on that. You don't have to like push down with all your might. Just normal hand weight pressure of your hand at rest. Kind of sitting on that tail. Okay, now, I remember that we did a mountain on the very first one. way, way back when we first started this series. And I remember doing some kind of shadowing on it or highlighting on it, but I don't remember if it was supposed to be snow or not. Because I don't quite remember doing blue snow on it. So, we'll see how this goes. Okay, so I'm just kind of outlining our shape here. And working out how I want that to look. So this was going to be a bit of a tree line. We're going to fill that in with a snow base color. So that way we don't have to worry about any of our gray shining through. Like the gray of the felt, not necessarily the gray of our mountain. Now his mountains were much darker. I could have gone with a darker gray. I could have. But I don't know. It just, I felt like I wanted to go a little bit lighter than that. And that's okay. Mountain doesn't have to be the same exact color as Bob or Steve's. They're just kind of trying to teach us how to do the things. Not necessarily the color they have to be. So we can make some small adjustments along the way. That's fine. So I did a shit job of putting this side in here, so I wanted to redo that just a bit. I mean, the whole thing's gonna get filled in here. So I'm gonna take this up to here towards our peak. As best as I can. And, you know, we're gonna have to make sure we fill in our mountain pretty good. Now I'm gonna bring this guy down and start following our middle line here. And you're probably thinking, well, why are you filling or following the middle line? You're just gonna fill the whole damn thing in. I am, but we're gonna do it in stages. And I can't remember what color I pulled to do our... I did pull sky blue, didn't I? I didn't see it in the bucket. Huh. That's interesting. So you can kind of see our little triangular shape here on the back. The back doesn't matter quite so much, because the back's going to be up against the wall. In all of its fuzzy glory. So, we're gonna just reconnect our lines here. Kind of merge the new piece with our old one here. Now, what side do we want to work on first? The shadow side or the snowy side? That is the question that we have to answer now. Doesn't really matter so much. I think we'll go with the light side, the highlighty side. I was about to say the snowy side, but they're both going to be snowy. So that doesn't really make any sense. Okay, I'm gonna pop that guy up gently, gently peel it up. All right, probably a good time to turn our mat here. And we're gonna grab some more fluff. And just like the sky, we're gonna work on filling in this face. So I'm gonna turn him back around so I can see. And I'm gonna come back up here to our peak. And work on filling in this section. So we're going to go this section by section to keep it from getting a little too overwhelming or potentially confusing. Section there by the clouds a little thin, so I might add a little bit more fluff into that area. Probably won't need to be too much, just a little. So I'm not going to worry about any of our other mountain guys. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll pop that guy up. Alright, that's looking pretty good back there. Front's coming along. And if you think one spot might be a little too transparent for you, or you think that any potential white cloudness is coming through too much, or if you think you can see whatever color you chose for your felt base is being a little too showy, then just add some more fluff on top of it. To get it filled into your liking. Now this is going to be our light side. Once we get this filled in. So we're going to fill in from this side to this side. We're not going to do this yet. And that is so I don't lose my place for how far over I wanted the light side to come. If you want to change where your light side sits, you can just add more brown to change that shape now. So that way you're ready for when we bring in our highlight. Oh, it's a Momo. He's been pretty good. I only took him once. And that was probably 2 hours ago. Because I think I took him about a half hour into stream. He's been a fairly good boy. Okay. Remember to pop up off of your fabric mats every so often, so you don't become too attached to it. 'cause that's not a fun time. Well, how would you know, Nisey? We've done it. A couple of times where I lost track of when the last time I had popped up off the mat the one time, and then the other time I'm like, oh no, we're good. I know we hadn't popped up recently, but I think we're fine. Only gonna do a teeny bit more, and no, it was not a good time getting that up off the mat. Had to go very slow, and Project and Matt had become very attached to one another. And they did not appreciate being separated at all. Alright. Okay. Sorry, it's easy to get carried away. Hell is on my screen? Something on this monitor. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's like stuck to it. That's bizarre. I haven't had this monitor that long. Didn't think I did anything to get anything stuck up there. Like, we haven't been flinging paint or anything. I didn't notice it there yesterday. Strange. Now see, I do have this finger touching that, but this one's in front of it. And there should be no reason for me to stab in the area where that is sitting. Okay. So we still have a little bit of space to fill in there. You okay? Who are you talking to?
Oh, the cats.
Alright. So we've got that side all filled in there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So now, before we go any further, I'm going to grab a little bit of our white. And we're going to get a small amount. Right? And we kind of want it pulled apart. Let me see if I can get this up there. So it's like real fine. Everybody's stretched out. Okay, it's hard to see him. So like that. Okay. So he's gonna be a little hard to see. Can kind of see him sitting in there. And we're gonna start up near our peak. Now it's okay if you feel like you don't have enough. We can add more. But this situation very much is gonna be like less is more to start. Because we're trying to create some breaks in the quote-unquote snow. And that first piece that goes in might look a little bit more of just a solid line. That's okay. Don't panic yet. Oh, I've got an itch on my leggy and I can't get to it. There we go. Okay. Wow, yeah, look at that. Like all like bowed out there. Yeah, that might start to fix as we do this section. Alright, so we're going to grab another piece. Same deal. We're not going to roll it or tighten this. We want this to be loosey-goosey. Alright, again, I'm going to start up in our peak area on the light side of our mountain here. And we're just gonna take our time and work on getting our snow attached here. So, I mean, you can kind of get the idea starting to form there. Sort of. Alright. And then you're just gonna kind of keep doing that until it's in a state that you're happy with. Don't overdo it though. It's gonna be easy to overdo that. So just, you know, be careful. Kind of watch how you're going. Take a step back and reevaluate as you go. Make sure you're not getting too carried away, because it's going to be possible to get carried away in there, for sure. Okay. You don't have to constantly start at the peak. I mean, if you've got the peak where you're happy with it, you can bring your start down a little bit lower. Like, that's fine. And when it's real stretched out and thin and stringy like this, it might take a little bit more layering up on it as you go to get it to where you're happy with it. And that's fine. I just feel like it's better to start out with a little bit and then, you know, work up to how much you really want on there. Because like I said, it's going to be real easy to overdo this. But if you think you've got it down, I mean, you're going to do what you want to do anyway, right? So, well, come back here. The fans are trying to run away with my fluff here. And again, this is going to be a situation of how much snow do you want on these things. If you want a bit more snow, then, you know, add more snow. If you're going for just like a kiss of snow, then you're going to add a little bit less. However you want to go about doing it. And if you're doing like a sunrise or a sunset, maybe grab like the palest, almost white yellow you've got. And maybe that side's your highlight color. That the sun's hitting the most. Now it's probably going to feel a little silly as you start working it. but it'll come together. It'll start to. It's kind of one of those things where you just kind of have to trust it. As you're getting started here. And you're trying to figure out how much snow you want on this guy. Snow in that part's going to be a little bit thicker. I actually think I want it to be a little bit thicker on the whole thing. Seems a little thin still for what I think I want. So I'm gonna maybe, come on now. There we go. I'm just trying to slide that over just a little bit. So you go at it, at your fluff at an angle. Sometimes you can maneuver it around a little bit. Alright. I know it seems silly to spend so much time trying to build it up. It's like, you could have just put the right amount on there to begin with. I could have gone thicker to begin with, yes. But would that give me the same effects? And I don't really think it would. Like, I don't want to just dive in head first to the shallow end. That seems a little ridiculous. I want to get a feel of how I want this to look. And the best way to do that is to start building up slowly, letting the fiber do its thing, because we don't want a solid white side. I actually think Steve went a little heavy-handed on that mountain. Excuse me. I think nerves were getting him. I don't know if that was the first time he was on camera, but I think it was the first time he was doing demonstrations with his dad, telling him what to do. It might have been the first time they were on camera together with him painting. Maybe. I can't remember if he was in season 1 or season 2. I don't remember. So Now, if you see me doing this, I'm feeling to see if I have any loose fiber that I didn't see. Because when you're working with the real stringy, wispy bits, it's easy to miss a section. It happens. I'm just double checking that I got it all. So then that is going to be our snowy side, our light snowy side. If you want more snow, then you know you can keep layering it up in bits and sections. I'm not sure if I want any more. Do I? I don't know. It feels a little sparse still. But I also don't want to overkill it either. Like, we can always come back in and add a bit more later if we really, really want to. Now, I'm not right up on this edge, and that's okay, because we've got this piece coming in here. This is sitting in front of that one, so it's not a huge deal. In all honesty, I probably should have done this back guy first, but I was like, oh, let's just start at the edge here. I was thinking this way across. I probably should have did that one first, but you know what? It's alright. Alright, I think that will be enough for now on that side. So, we'll be picking this back up again on Sunday. In which case we will be filling this side in and putting our shadow in with our light blue. We'll see how that goes. And I'm hoping that this bowed out section will start to get pulled back in as we fill this spot in. It's not too terribly bowed, but this is a good experiment because it'll help me see if it was a combination of the tape and the thicker felt that helped keep this in check, or if it was just the tape. So that's gonna do it for today. We did some good progress. We got the sky finished, we got our clouds in place, and we started our mountains here. Not too shabby. So schedule for this week is looking like I don't think I'm gonna have time for a bonus stream this week, so sorry about that. If we do a bonus stream this week, it might be Bear and Breakfast, because we haven't looked at that guy on stream yet. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll post on Twitter, or, you know, you'll get notified if you have your notifications turned on here. Thursday is when I'm expecting to be streaming again, and we'll be back in Coral Island, migraine permitting, and life permitting, of course. I'm sorry I missed last week's Coral Island. Friday we'll be Planet Zoo. Saturday we'll probably be finishing up our flamingo painting, or at least getting close to finishing it up. And then Sunday we'll be back in here on this guy, and I'm actually looking forward to this one. I'm kind of excited to see what kind of journey we go on with these mountains. This is not one of the mountains. This is a foothill, so we just have these guys back here. But so far, I'm hopeful that they will turn out all right. So I hope everybody has a good week, and that you all stay safe and are enjoying your summer. There's socially links down below that will take you to the X, Twitter, Instagram, Ko-fi, and the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel, we try to archive most of the live streams, and they'll all be on their own playlist. So needle felting like this will be on the needle felting playlist, painting playlist, so forth and so on. Right now, at the end of my stream week, which is today, so either later tonight or tomorrow, I will schedule this past week's live streams to go up on the YouTube channel. It's easier for me to batch them all at once than to remember to do it every day or every other day on the spot. So when I can schedule it, then I can forget about it once it's scheduled. So within the next week, the live streams for here will be going up over there in case you missed something. The VODs should still be available here for a few days. So you've got those two options. I hope everybody has a good one. And until next time, you guys.